Hello, Cryptonauts, and welcome back to another episode of Cryptocurrency Chat. Here, episode 531, Sunday night. The crypto gaming, Web3 gaming, 3 gaming, GG gaming, all gaming stuff.
GG
GG is what
all
we're going to be
day,
talking
every
about.
day.
So,
Web3 gaming.
I'm your host, Jake Eberly, and this is Blockchain John here, also co hosting with me, and my character's not looking at the screen. I
Yeah.
don't know where I am. There I am.
So,
Okay.
so
So,
being a gaming episode, I play a lot of games, man. I love playing games, especially mobile games. That's my number one go-to. A lot of people are like they trip out on me because they're like, "Hey, man, how do you play so much Android games, man? I love Android games."
hmm
You know, I would consider like some AAA games on there, right? But the biggest difference of what's going on here with GG is that there's a lot of games being moved over or being converted or being cloned into this Web three meta. What do you call it? Like a metaverse, Web three
Yeah,
verse.
Web 3. Yeah, I guess you could. I don't know if it's metaverse exactly, but it's Web 3
Well,
gaming.
Web
It's all
three.
Web 3 based. So
Yeah. So now there's this transition to move games over to Web three because I mean there's an incentive for me as a player now to play these games, which I really like because I get to earn crypto. Right. So for decades, right? For decades, I've always played games from the original Nintendo. I think you had Atari, right? What was the earliest game that you
I had
had? Your
Nintendo
earliest
too.
game system?
Actually, I didn't play a whole lot of Atari. We didn't have an Atari when I was a kid. We got the Nintendo in the mid '80s, like December of '85, I think it was, or I don't remember exactly, but it was mid '80s. And yeah, I remember playing the original Super Mario, and I remember playing what's it called, Duck Hunt, and and
Yeah,
Zelda.
Duck Hunt, bro.
Zelda. I played Zelda
Zelda,
too.
yeah.
Early
Uh-huh.
Zelda. Actually, I didn't get to play it at first. It was my this is the thing that's so weird. You think it's for kids, right? Everybody bought the Nintendo Entertainment System for the kids. No, my grandmother bought the Nintendo Entertainment System for my dad, not for
Yeah.
his kids, for my dad. So my dad, who had apparently at that time a lot of time on his hands, I remember he got laid off, and he played Zelda every freaking day. Every single day he was playing Zelda on the main TV.
Uh,
You know, he's a guy in his mid
awesome
30s,
dad.
so what else is he gonna do?
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
but I mean, he's looking for a job too. But at the same time, it's just kind of weird. But yeah, he played that game and played the game. He beat it both on the original version and the. Anyways, get back to Web 3. The point is, a lot of games are moving to Web 3 from whatever they were on before. And one of those games in particular, which we were talking about, it's behind you on the right. I think it's the Bitcoin Candy Crush, right?
Right here. Yeah, so it's a Candy Crush clone coming
Yeah.
out. You can pretty much play that right now. Cool. Oh, yeah.
But
I mean,
this
who
is
wouldn't
a
want? First of all,
what's
like,
up?
Candy Crush is a popular game. Period. I
Yes,
don't
very
play
much
it.
so.
I don't understand why people have all this hype about Candy Crush. But it is a thing, and now
Right,
there's a clone for it, and you can actually earn some satoshis for playing Candy Crush.
right.
Why not? You know, that's the way things are going, man. That's awesome. Satoshis, man.
But yeah, it's such a
Yeah.
contrast because Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, but Candy Crush is always you pay them to play the game, and they get you to like the last say, oh, you don't have enough points to get to go to the next level. Hey, you could pay like $1, $5 charge. Hey, $100 you want to get a bunch of hammers to get into your game. And I hate to say this, but my wife played the game in the early days when Candy Crush very first came out, and yeah, she spent a lot of money in the early days on this game. And she finally got to the point where when she realized she'd spent so much, she's like, "Oh my God, what am I throwing my money away on this non-substantial thing?" And it's like, "Hey, have you ever played MMOs? Because they're completely non-substantial too." So, anyways, um, I spent a lot more than $500 or $600 on non-substantial games over the years. I'm a big MMO player, unlike John, who's more Android.
Yeah.
But um,
Yeah, but still, I like MMOs. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm playing one right now while we're talking. You know, I got it right here. Let me show it on. Let me show it on screen.
you got a stream
Boom. I'm
MMO.
playing. That's my MMO, man. I'm
There you
playing
go.
right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Well, you also, I mean, doesn't technically what's DeFi Kingdoms count as an MMO? Not just Pokemon or Pokemon's not an
Wait,
MMO, is it? I
say it
guess it
again.
is. I guess Pokemon is an MMO because it's a massive multiplayer online game. And Pokemon certainly is
Yeah,
that.
I guess so.
But not
Yeah.
typically like an MMORPG like Eve Online or World of Warcraft or something. Um, but I mean, DeFi Kingdoms is technically that. It's a role-playing game, and it
Mhm.
is crypto-based. But
Yeah.
the difference is, and this is the whole point of this episode is talking about uh, crypto games or Web3 games that pay you. So instead of pay to play like some Sony games tend to be, this is pay you to play or you get paid to play.
Mhm.
And that's the real big distinction between uh, the older pay to play games where you're paying them to get more functionality. Not to say you can't do that, but I was thinking in particular not just this Candy Crush knockoff, but Townstar. Townstar was the game that I promoted like 2 years ago, and it's done by Gala Games, and Gala Games has more than just Townstar. That's not the only thing, but we also talked about Gala Films. I think was the other one. But the main thing with Townstar is that you play the game and you get money, and whoever does the best per round per week, and there are other versions of Townstar out there. I mean, within the same ecosystem, where you just make as many stars as you possibly can, and at the end, if anyone ends up with like 2 or 3 million stars from building their perfect town, they get paid, and it's not a small amount of money. I mean, it could be hundreds of thousands of coins, which at the moment aren't worth a whole lot. Like I think Gala coins worth maybe 2 cents I think right now, which is a lot more than it was when it started. But yeah, by building and trading and selling the things that you have with, look at that, 600 million people. It's pretty popular because remember the people who invented Townstar, this Zynga, or people who came from Zynga, were the ones who started Farmville for Facebook years and years ago. So
Mhm.
I did play this game when it very first came out, and yes, it did pay, but it's gotten so competitive now that I just can't even compete. But it's still neat to see these. Once you learn how to play the game, it's actually pretty interesting. Um, so I guess one
They
base,
actually have
yeah, you can play
they
it and
actually have
get
a lot
paid.
of games, man.
Pardon?
Show on screen here. They have a lot of games already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show on screen what they have.
Yep, more than just
Let's see.
Townstar.
Where's Yep. Let's see. There it is. Gala Games. Boom. You can go up from the top. They got Dragon Strike, Poker, Go Play, Eternal Paradox, Spider Tanks, Downstar, Superior, Grit, Meow Match, Champions, Arena, Legends
Mm-hmm.
Reborn, Miranda's Tavern
Yeah, Mirandus
Games,
was their second game they
Battlestar.
came out with. But yeah,
Ah,
they,
okay,
they've
okay.
basically become a new platform, right? I mean, yeah, Mirandus was the. Mirandus is actually a pretty neat game, honestly. It's I don't want to call it. What's it? It's like EverQuest. At least that's the way I feel like it is. Um, it's kind of a neat concept in general. But it's neat to see that Gala is really taking off, and it is. You can pour money in because remember Gala is based off Ethereum, so you're gonna have to make some Ethereum transactions. Although I know you can do it through Polygon now, not just Ethereum. But
Mhm.
it is kind of neat just in general to be able to play a game that can pay you to play. Um, but what I was trying to get at earlier with this concept of get paid to play is it would be better, in my opinion, unless this is already what they're doing. Because I know that if you get enough money, you can actually get a node within Gala Games, and then of course it will pay you to
Nice.
authorize transactions.
Mhm.
It was pretty expensive last I checked. It's like $50,000 for a node, but it's still possible to get that high. And the thing that I find fascinating about that, yeah, there it is. Get a Gala node today. You can buy one. Is just the idea that these games support Web3, not just supporting the companies that are on Web3, like Gala itself, but that you can support the blockchain by playing. You support the
Yep.
network itself by playing the game.
Mhm.
And I think that's fascinating because it's supporting. It's not like by playing Eve Online or World of Warcraft or something like that, you are technically supporting something. You're supporting a community that you play with, but you're also supporting the company that creates it, right? By giving the money. But in this sense, it's like you're playing the game, not you're paying for it, but you're playing the game supports the network, which creates the very ecosystem in which you play. And I think that itself is fascinating. So yeah, there's quite a Spider Tanks. I think was the third game they came out with. See, because this is what I thought NFTs would end up being within Townstar and within Spider Tanks in particular. And I know it's also true in Mirandus. You can buy the parts, or you can play the game and get the parts. So you can get
That's
better
another thing
parts.
that
Go ahead.
I want to elaborate on that a little bit about the whole NFT gaming experience as well. There's that's what's really cool is that like you said when you're playing AAA games currently like on Steam, you're not really earning. You're building up your character, yes, but you hit level 100 after 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It just stays there. It does nothing else.
Right.
So if in the future you decide, you know what, I'm really just going to grind and get to level 100 on one of these Web3 games, that's great, man. Especially if your avatar, or your character, or your sword, shield, and armor is an NFT. That's freaking awesome because then you can actually swap that into like
Yes.
a third party
Yes.
market.
Or if you just yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing with Ton Stars. The parts you get to make your town better, you can resell. Or let's say
Ah,
you make a part within your town by having played the game, then that makes real things that you can resell to the market for people who might need
huh,
something that you don't need anymore.
huh.
Let's say you built a
Okay.
car in real life and you're like, hey, well, I don't need six cars. I want to sell one of them. You can sell it on the market. Kind of what
Yeah.
Townstar mimics. So the
Yeah.
same kind of thing. If you want to get rid of your parts that you don't need anymore, you
It's actually
can.
a good idea. Is there a card game out there on Web3? That's actually
Yeah,
genius,
there
man.
probably
You want to
is,
sell a
but
trans you want to sell a transmission, you can sell a transmission. You need a motor, you need some turbo, you can get some turbo. You need some
yeah,
NOS, you
yeah.
can get some NOS.
Yeah, but I'm sure
You need
there's
some
some
track
probably somebody
tires.
building a game like that. When we talked about 3XP before, which is another platform, unlike
Yeah.
Gala. But
You want to show
yeah,
that on screen?
yeah, if you'd like, it's
Yeah, let's see here.
but yeah,
Three
it's good.
3XP is a convention that happened here earlier this year here in California. Where's it at? There it is. And yeah, they actually have it's all game promotion. Web3 Gaming Expo, June 8th and 9th. So that just passed. That was last month at how do you say it?
Pasadena,
Pasadena,
Pasadena.
Pasadena Convention Center.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got a bunch of games out here. Check this out, man. Champions Ascension, Perilous Skyweaver, Wildcard. There's so many games, and some of these games are amazing. Like they're like AAA quality games. So
right.
yeah, dude, these
Yeah, there's
companies
spider
are
tanks.
getting
We just saw
better.
spider tanks earlier from Gala. So
Yep, Spider Tanks. Yep, yep. Dude,
yeah,
Black
there's
Kingdoms is
DeFi
there
Kingdoms
too.
at the bottom. You see that
There it
DeFi
is.
Kingdoms?
Mm-hmm.
Haha. Yeah, right there. So yeah, a lot of stuff was talked about. DeFi Kingdoms, like I said, was the three. What was it? Avalanche based. I guess they do Avalanche and Polygon, right?
Yeah.
But primarily
At this
Avalanche.
point, I don't understand why people. I mean, I'm literally playing a game right now that's not Web3 based,
Hmm.
and I think the reason that I do that is because there's no transactions. That's the
Ah,
primary
yeah,
thing that really
yeah,
does frustrates me about you know onboarding onto a Web3 game is those transaction values. That's where it gets a little ridiculous.
yeah,
You're doing these transactions over and over again, and you're spending more time doing transactions than actually playing the game.
yeah.
This particular game that I'm playing, this I guess RPG is more of a passive game. I just
Right.
a couple clicks here and there, and then it just builds up my character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if maybe it's an off-chain thing that needs to be done with these kinds of games, so things can go a little bit faster, or at least maybe how do I put this
See,
exactly?
the biggest thing, like like for example, with DeFi Kingdoms, there's so many transactions that I need to do just to get
Mm-hmm.
from one
From
spot
one
to
plot
the
to the
next.
other. Yeah.
Is that there needs to be like, and I think this should be like default towards all games where I do the initial approval, obviously because they're smart contracts, so you want to make sure that you're approving the right contract.
Right.
And I know it's the game's contract, so I'm approving that through my MetaMask, right? So once I do that as a default, there shouldn't be another prompt. I should be able to just click and
Yep.
move forward instead of
Yep.
going through the transaction. The
Well,
transaction should happen on the back end, not interrupting my experience with gaming. Now I
right.
got to wait for MetaMask to open up, and then I got to send the transaction, wait for the transaction to clear, and then go to the next stop.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, that
And it
that,
takes
that
a long
messes
time.
with
I
my.
completely agree with you. What I was saying is that the thing I didn't like about how um, DeFi Kingdoms was that aspect. Is there's that they wanted to make it all smart contract transaction based. The problem with that is, it's it's there's certain things that shouldn't be transaction based, and that's the thing that I think the thing that Web3 has really struggled with to try to figure out how to do correctly was to try to come up with a thing where everything doesn't necessarily have to be transaction based. Oh, what? I guess I'm reloading here. Give me a second. Oh my goodness, my character just jumped out. So hold on while we pause the show. Hold on. I guess you're not allowed to be in something like that for not too long. Hold on. Technical difficulties. I wish I had a screen to pop up in front of this. Where did my character go? I need that link. Copy the link. Copy the link. Copy the text. That was really weird. I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't think there was a time limit that would kick me out. There we go. Alright, I'll get my camera back in place. Oh, wow. Well, next time I'll know not to do that. Here. There we go. You stretch the screen out. Why did you do that? Alright. Well, alright. Next time I'll know not to sit idly by while the yeah, anyways. My bad. You were saying, Don? Sorry.
Yeah, Web3 game, man. It's a thing. It's a reality. People need to onboard on that. So I was at Hacker Dojo yesterday. One of the speakers was talking about Web3 gaming, and he's trying to build pretty much what Gala Games is doing, but using multi chains, right? So using multi blockchains, because there's obviously a lot of games on these blockchain ecosystems. But he's trying to build a centralized platform where you can create your account, your wallet, I assume, and you can have everything just interact there centrally. That sounds like a massive overhaul on that, and I don't know how the chains are all going to communicate. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, if you can get this through, then that's really awesome. Because then he says you can I guess cross over assets, the
Yeah.
chains, especially so if again, for example, like DeFi Kingdom, they're using two different blockchains, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
can move one to the other.
Right.
That's pretty much his idea of how he's going to be able to do that.
Right.
That's there's a lot of people out there doing stuff.
Yeah.
So I would
Well,
give it,
there's more development is needed.
yeah. There's give it a couple more years for gaming to come through. Obviously, there's already a lot of games out there. The biggest problem that my personal experience is with transactions. Yeah, that's pretty much my only complaint because the games themselves. If I like the game, dude, like I'll play it. I'll play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
So
think that along those lines, what you're saying is that we need a way to pre-approve, a series of transactions. Maybe we could say, I'll approve up to, all the transactions within this hour, or I'll approve all the transactions up to a certain dollar amount or certain coin amount.
I mean, no, well, I mean, for example, the whole for with MetaMask interacting with my wallet, it is calling a certain contract through my wallet, and that contract is for no for an attack.
Right.
That's fine. I don't have to continuously attack every single time I log in. I know it's an attack value. Let's just go ahead and just set that as default and let it run on the back end.
Exactly.
When I attack, let MetaMask do its thing on the back end. I just keep going forward.
Yep. Yeah, but then part of that is, can you make the transactions fast enough within the blockchain that you have
That's
that can actually
bing
make it
bing
worthwhile? Because it's like,
bing.
if
Bing.
your transactions
Mhm,
take 2 or 3 seconds per transaction, you may as well just have this herky jerky, very slow kind of game you're playing, almost like you're playing an
mhm,
Atari game. But even Atari isn't that slow. So
mhm.
it is problematic. It's like you said, maybe they need a second chain in order to make transactions go more quickly, or maybe they have all the transactions happen, but not on chain, and then they assess afterwards.
That's
You know,
actually
or
genius.
do a roll up or something.
That's actually yeah. That's actually a really good idea.
All
Absolutely.
combat, when you start combat with something, all the combat, in order to make it take place in real time, you say do the thing, okay, do the thing. Everybody makes their transactions, and then at the end, it it calculates all the transactions and rolls them up and puts them on the blockchain. So I don't know.
But what if there's not enough value in the wallet to do those transactions?
Yeah, see, that's problematic. I don't even know how to make it make that much sense.
You have to be something like Lightning Coin where it's instant every single time.
Hmm.
So you would have to deposit some of your main chain tokens onto a side chain, whatever that is, a Lightning wallet, right? So you
Yep.
put so yeah, let's just do that. Let's just play with that idea real quick. You have your Bitcoin main wallet, right?
Right.
Those transactions takes 10 minutes per block. It's ridiculous because the settlement time is 1 hour, right? Because it
Hmm.
takes 6 blocks to settle. But if you do it on Lightning, it is instantaneously. By the time you click and you unclick, it's already sent through. It's pretty dang
Yeah.
fast.
Yep.
So that's what's really cool about Lightning, right? So in order to open Lightning Node or Lightning Wallet, you need to actually deposit some money into your Lightning address, so you can activate your Lightning address. That's actually genius because if I deposit $10, all I have is $10.
Yep.
So those are interacting with those combat values. Great, cool, and it'll let me know instantaneously. Hey, you have no more. Deposit some more.
Right.
It's great. I
I don't.
like that idea.
I
That's the
don't.
only notification I want.
I don't think that all these interactions necessarily need to be blockchain interactions though. And that's what I'm saying is like I know they're making an entirely blockchain based game, so everything is blockchain, but I think some actions cannot have to be blockchain related explicitly. Everything, certain things like if you're
I
going to buy something from a vendor, fine,
mm,
you're going to pay for that. If you're going to sell something to a vendor, fine, they're going to pay you for that. If you're gonna maybe if you need to pay access to a new realm, fine, pay for that.
mm.
But things where it's just combat, I don't think it necessarily needs to
You're
be every single
absolutely right, dude.
transaction be on the blockchain.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I think when it comes to that, I agree with you on that. And it should only be like that should be technically Web 2, right? All those
Yeah.
combat values, all that adventuring that you're doing, all that racing you're doing, all the shooting that you're doing. Even on Web 2, you don't really need on Web 3. What
Yeah.
you need on Web 3 is the leveling up event.
Leveling up and getting new gear and
Leveling up.
changing your gear
Yep.
and modifying your gear and all the
Yep.
additions you can get, that kind of stuff. Or
Yep.
for that matter, maybe buying a new character, or as they say, merging characters and making new characters. Um, it's just that we need to figure that stuff out. Someone needs to figure out how can we do these things if they're not necessarily going to be explicitly on the blockchain. And that is a question. It's a problematic question. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to happen.
So the Web 2 features that I'm talking about, that can be hosted on blockchain. It just doesn't necessarily like the data just can be transferred back and forth because obviously the game is supposed to be decentralized. It's supposed to be blockchain based.
Yep.
So you don't really want to have it centralized off of just one particular server or
Right.
one node. If you're decentralizing it on the blockchain, great. You can do that and just having the data just being transferred back and forth through IPFS. So there should be some sort of fast data request pulls through the blockchain, right? I'm
Well, I mean, all right.
assuming
So remember we talked about rollups before, and I mean this is a not a new concept, but if something was,
rollups.
yeah, rollup transactions that they were doing on Ethereum in order to make the transactions go faster. They were rolling a bunch of transactions into one and then sticking that on the block. And so I was thinking maybe that can be like when you do instances in games. Warcraft is an example I can think of is you set up a new instance, whether it's with you and a bunch of other people or just you alone, and then you go into that instance, and in that instance, all the things that happen in that instance could be rolled up into one transaction. Um, and maybe no, you don't want to start that transaction right away. Maybe you just want to um, have that once all the things are done in that particular instance, then you roll up all the transactions were made and all
Hmm?
put on the blockchain. But I still don't necessarily feel like every single nitpicky thing that you do has to be explicitly on the blockchain. Maybe it's important to the game, particularly when it comes to DeFi kingdoms, but I just don't see that as
I
being
don't.
necessary.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary either for DeFi Kingdoms. I think they can get away with just doing the whole leveling up part.
Yeah.
I don't. But then again, like the way it's been kind of figured out with DeFi Kingdoms, it's sort of like a micro staking event that's going on when you're doing your professions or your activity, right? So
Right.
if you're a gardener, if your hero is a gardener,
Hmm.
you're gardening for 8 hours a day, or you're a miner and you're going to the mines and the caves and you're mining, or you're a fisherman and you're fishing. You know, it was like micro staking because you do
Okay.
it every 8 hours. So you stake it. So you send one contract to stake it, or start your quest or your profession or whatever. And then once your time is up, once your 8 hours is up, then you have to unstake it, or
Hmm.
aka complete your
Complete your
quest and
yeah,
earn your
exactly.
rewards.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe that's a must because you're actually collecting tokens
Hmm.
every single time you complete your
Yeah.
quest.
I was thinking that I would actually. I don't even know. I don't know how it could be done. One of the things I liked about playing World of Warcraft when I did play it on a regular basis was the same kind of thing as it's called gathering, the gathering techniques, where you're fishing or mining or herbing or any other kind of thing like jewel crafting, where you take the ore from mining and turn it into some sort of interesting format. By finding the gems in the ore. To me, it was a very relaxing thing. In fact, I used to have. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, so I could redirect you on this channel. Um, I used to have um, a channel that was called ASMR Craft. The whole thing was just me fishing on a floating island outside of one of the cities, and I just liked doing it because it was relaxing. And I would just play some music from some FM, and that's it. Just play the music and fish. And I would fish for days and days, or not days, but like anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of just fishing. It was just a relaxing thing to do. And I mean, I realize I'm paying Blizzard for the opportunity to play the game, but I really like the idea of just that basic level. So I don't know how to put it any other way, but I think some people do play Townstar not just to make money, because even if you don't get the top 10 spaces in Townstar, you still make money. So it would be nice if your character wouldn't have to stand up to do that.
I know. I don't understand why he stands up and claps. My guy has to stand up, stand on the chair, and then clap.
Yep.
What
And
the?
then sit back down again. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's like almost like
Okay,
this. It's almost like the sitting of the characters as an afterthought. Like, oh, they can sit, but that's not a normal thing.
stand
Anyways,
on the chair and clap.
the thing I remember some people. I want to play devil's advocate just against the concept of get paid to play. And some people I know, because I've talked to a lot of people about, well, wouldn't it be amazing if you were paid to play a game? And some people are like, well, I don't want to watch ads all day. I was like, okay, yeah, that's a given. I definitely agree with that. But um, another factor was they don't want any like emphasis on the game. They want this thing where like, well, I have to do it or else I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. And I was like, yes, see, that's exactly how I feel about it too. Sometimes you just want to play a game because it's fun, or maybe it's
Mhm.
just a challenging that's outside your normal experience, and that's also fun. And so when I think about how some people might play the game, it's not necessarily because they're looking for money.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast not so long ago, and he was talking about that. Hey, man, sometimes he just likes to play dumb
yeah,
down games, not
yeah,
because he's trying to do anything. He just wants to kill some time.
exactly.
It's
Well, relax.
there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
Relax.
so you feel like if
A,
you're in a
a,
game, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
hmm? it's a brain dead game. Like you don't have to
Hmm.
spend so much time and just relaxing, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I think the problem with pay to get paid to play is because some people think that if they get into a game like that, if they're not making money, it's almost like a job. It's like, well, now I'm gonna work while I'm gaming. I
Oh
don't want
yeah.
to do that. The whole point
What
of
was
coming,
that one game? I'm trying to remember that. There was a game that came out at the beginning of the year, and some people were like grinding for like 3 days straight, no sleep, just to get to the top. Because if you're like one of the top players, like every single like day, you earn massive rewards. And then eventually, what happened was game developers found out that some guys on the back end already created bots like on day one to
it was
manipulate
the
their position.
Dookie Dash game,
Yeah,
the
yeah, Dookie
fades.
Dash. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's what it was.
yeah, but that's not the only game that's happened in. Although because Dookie
Sure.
Dash doesn't have a lot of or didn't have a lot of regulation in it, they're just like, well, it's people are going to code to game play the game for me, and that's true in almost every single game that doesn't have some sort of lockdown, and even games that do have. The reason I remember that
But
explicitly was gold farmers. People who were farming gold in the early days of World of Warcraft, and they still do it. There's still plenty of people that are gaming the system within the game to make money. So,
there's bots right now on DeFi Kingdoms, And
right.
it's not a bad thing. It's just, they still have to wait 8 hours,
Yep.
right, for that professional, that quest to complete. Then the bot, what it does is just reactivates, because you know how I told you you got to continuously go into your MetaMask and click
Yep.
start your quest, which is dumb. That should be on the back end, right?
Right. Right.
It's not. It's not.
Yep.
So
There's
there's a
so many
bot that they
people who
created.
play who create bots to play games for them because they can make money and not have to do the work anyways. And so it's like I get it. I remember when it was a long time ago, but Sony Online Entertainment came out with the early Star Wars game, Star Wars Galaxy, I think it was. I had a friend who realized, even with the simple macro tools that were built into the game, that he could play an entertainer character all the way to max level without even playing the game. And so he set up a bunch of macros to basically have the character dance her way to max level. He did it within like I think 7 days. Like would normally have taken a month or two to do the same thing, and he just basically
Oh,
macroed his way to the max. I was like, dude, that's not playing the game. He's like, well, to me it is. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I like creating macros and creating programs. I'm a programmer. And I was like, yeah. He's like, this is fun to me. I was like, you got a point there. I never thought of it that way. But yeah, it might just be fun to some people. It also might be money making to some people. So I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I think that's about all we got for this episode. We did want to talk mostly about playing. I think we hit all the points. If you guys have anything further to tell us, please leave it in the comments. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, I don't know if there's any place you can put a comment.
yeah, so we're
Um,
gonna be doing this whole gaming thing pretty much like every Sunday. So if you got a game
yeah,
that you're interested in promoting or you want us to check out, let us know. Just reach out to us via, I would say Discord. Discord for me is probably the best way to reach out. Just let me know what games are out there that are really good. I definitely want to play some games out there. So let me know. Yeah.
you got to tell me, John. Your avatar is looking up at the ceiling. What are you looking
The birds.
at? All right. Well, anyways, that's all we got for the Sunday night show. Thank you all for joining us. Check out Cointree or cointr.ee/c3media. That's our links to everything. It'll of course be down in the description below.
Uh,
And that's all we got for tonight. So, as we say at the end of every single show, stack sats
Jets
and huddle.
and huddle.
Adios.
Adios.